Hear me great. All right, so we're gonna get started warmed up with feet about hip width apart. What we're gonna do is we're gonna slowly sit down into your squat, kind of find the bottom of your squat position. We're gonna hang out down there for just a second. Just kind of let yourself relax, fall deeper into that, deeper into that. And once you feel like you're as deep as can go, you're going to keep your hip angle consistent, but you're going to extend your knees so you kind of get down into a forward fold position just like this. Once you kind of think about pushing your hands down, or your palms down towards the ground, kind of get a lower back, hamstring stretch, maybe stiff from sitting on a chair all day. That's totally fine. So we're going to kind of reverse that again, keep that hip angle. We're going to bend those knees back down to the bottom of your squat. And then we'll stand it up. We'll do that one more time. We're going to sit down into a good deep squat. This time I want you to think about gripping the ground with your toes. Try to get some tension through the bottom of your foot. So grip the ground, but still kind of keep your weight back and your chest up best you can. Grip the ground with your toes. One more time, hinge, extend those knees up. Push those palms down towards the ground. And roll that on up. I'm going to take those hips out, or those feet out nice and wide. We're going to sit down over to the left side, kind of into a low lateral lunge. Bring it back up, over to the right side. And we'll do that a couple more times each way. Once you think about really shifting that weight over and kind of elongating that opposite leg, really reaching that pinky toe down towards the ground. Extend that leg. We'll go one more time to the left. And one more time to the right. And relax. All right. So we're going to bring it down to the ground. As you may recall, we do a lot of our positioning starting from that primal position, that base beast position right here. Today we're going to get away from that a little bit. We're going to start more on that plank position. So what we're going to do is work on engaging that plank. So go ahead and get yourself into a high plank position. And we're going to go over some cues I want you to focus on. So right now I want you to think about spreading all your fingers out. Okay? I want you to push your palms down into the ground and try to get your chest as far away from the ground as possible. So you should be really extending those arms. Think about kind of squeezing your triceps, extending those arms through the ground. All right, and now I want you to think about pushing your heels away from your wrists. Try and push your heels as far away, keeping those toes down on the ground. But think about elongating those legs as long as possible. Still pushing those hands down. And now I want you to think about pulling those abs in nice and tight. All right, so we've got kind of 3 areas of tension through those arms, through the legs, and through your abs. I want you to squeeze 5 seconds, holding everything as tight as you can, and relax. Bring that back down, we'll shake it out. So we're going to do it one more time. I want you to focus on creating as much tension through your body as possible, through your arms, through your legs, and through your abs, all right? So get your hands set, spread those fingers out, hop up into that high plank position. So over those arms, again, push those arms down to the ground. The pits of your elbows, where your elbow bends, I want you to think about facing those forward. So if you kind of have those facing towards each other, I want you to put more tension into the ground. Turn those elbows straight back. Turns the pits of your elbows forward. All right, now push those heels away. Those knees should be nice and straight. Those glutes are squeezed. And then we'll engage those abs. Pull those abs in tight, tight, tight. Create as much tension through the whole body as possible. Hang it for 5 seconds. For 3, 2, 1, and relax. All right, drop it down. All right, so our first little flow is going to be a little bit of a transition from our warm-up into our workout. So stay with me here. So we're going to start in that high plank position. We are engaged everywhere that we just practiced. All right, what we're going to do is we're going to bring our right knee up into a pigeon pose. Okay, we're going to take a second to think about pushing our head, top of head to the ceiling. All right, kind of elongating, get a good stretch through your glute, through your hip. I'm going to drop my left knee down towards the ground. I'm going to bring my left heel over to my right side. All right, will make sense in a second. You're going to bring that over as much as you can. Then we're going to sit down into that, where now we have a 90-90 through both of our knees and ankles. Okay? In this position, I'm going to turn my body towards the right. I'm going to point my right hand down on the ground. I'm going to take my left hand. I'm going to thread that through that gap that I've just created. So I'm going to get a little torso twist, a little spinal extension there. I'm going to pull that back up to center. I'm going to take my chest, I'm going to reach my chest out over that right knee. So you feel a good stretch through that right glute. All right, don't think about pushing your chest to the knee. I want you to think about pushing that chest out over that knee. All right, so our chest is still proud, our head is still looking forward. You should get a much deeper stretch here than you are here, okay? Think like your glutes and your hips out over here, and relax on that. All right, now we're just gonna reverse that. We're gonna put our hands back to where we started. We're gonna hinge that up into that pigeon position. I'm gonna curl my toes under, lift my knee. All right, so we're gonna take a second pause there. I'm gonna bring that back to plank position. All right? Now we're going to do it on the other side. I'm going to turn around so you can see. I'm going to bring my left leg through into that pigeon pose. Remember, reach the top of the head to the ceiling. Get a little glute stretch in there. I'm going to drop that right knee down to the ground. Now I'm going to bring that right heel over to the left side. I'm going to sit down towards my left hip. All right, now we're in that nice 90-90 stretch through the legs. Pointing that left hand down. Right hand is going to reach up underneath, get that torso twist. Maybe get a couple pops through your spine, through your low back, stretching all that stress from the workday. All right, now we're going to reach that chest out over that left knee. Same deal. Think about out over it. If you need to plant it, keep that hand planted to give you a little bit more stability. That's fine. If you want that extra challenge, take that hand away. Try to keep those knees down. Reach, 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 feel that stretch. We'll come out of that and then again reverse. Put those hands on the ground, hinging up into that pigeon pose. Tuck those toes, lift that knee, take that extra second to lift that chest, lift that head towards the ceiling, and then we'll bring that back to plank. Okay? So we're going to do that again through, I'm going to stay on my left side, but we're going to just do 3 times, all on one side. And then we'll flip on the other side, okay? So once we kind of get to the end, we're just gonna basically do it again. I'll show you exactly how we transition that when we get there. So the first time I do it, I'm gonna take it with the call outs a little bit slower, and then we'll kind of take it at your own pace for the remaining few, okay? So let's bring it into that high plank position. Let's start how we started, engaging everything, pushing those palms in the ground, pushing those heels away, squeezing those abs nice and tight. Create that rigid body, all right? We'll bring that left foot up, and we'll go into that pigeon pose for just a breath. Remember, keep that knee up off the ground for this one. And then we'll drop that knee down, bring that ankle over, sit back in that 90-90. Once you're in that 90-90, then we start with that rotation, playing that left hand. You can play with where you're playing this hand, a little bit longer, a little bit deeper rotation. Challenge yourself to keep it a little bit closer. All right, create a little bit more upward rotation. And again, each of these will hold for just a breath or so. Come up out of that, we're gonna reach that chest over that knee. Hold that for a breath or so. Bring back up, hands back down. Hinging over, create that good long pigeon pose. And now here's where we're gonna stay on this side. So I'm gonna bring my left leg, instead of planting it for my plank position, I'm actually gonna kick this up into kind of a elongated downward dog. All right, so a little extra stretch through the right hamstring. And I'm going to take that leg right back to where we started for that pigeon pose. Okay, so that's going to be how we're transition into each side. So now I'm going to kind of let you go through this at your own pace. Find each position. I want you to hold it for a breath or 2. Like I said, we're going to go for about 3 reps here. If you don't match up perfectly with me, that is no concern. We'll be totally all right. So once you get to each position, I want you to hold back for just a second. Deepen that stretch each time you go through. When you finish that second rep, we're kicking that left leg up in the air, and then bring that same left leg up for one last rep on this side. Hold that. Bring that over into your rotation. I want you to reach a little bit extra on this last rotation. Come up, pigeon that chest out forward. Again, I want you to focus on getting into that glute. If you don't feel it in that glute or that hip, I need you to move that around until you do. All right, we're not going to just move through the movements today. We're going to find out what our body needs, and we're going to provide that need to the body. All right, so this last one, we're actually going to kick that leg back to plank. All right, and we're going to go down dog with both legs down, and we're going to bring that right leg up and through. I'm actually going to turn around so you can hear me talk to the camera. All right. So remember, whatever leg is down, your heel is going to cheat that direction. So my right leg is down, my heel is going to cheat towards the right side. So I can sit down into that 90-90. Plant that right hand, reach that left through. Bring that up, reaching that chest out over that knee. And find that stretch, deepen that stretch, and we'll go back into that pigeon. Remember, head comes up, chest comes up, hips go down on here. I'm going to kick that right leg up into that down dog and bring that right back through into that same position for round number 2 on the right side. So again, each round, I want to think about getting a little bit deeper into each of these. And we're still kind of getting our hips and movements ready. It's kind of our transitional work phase from that warm-up into the higher demand. All right, that's going to be my last one here. If you're still with me, awesome. If you're a little bit ahead, no harm in continuing the movement, continuing the flow, get a little extra work in there, that's fine. But again, these are not about the repetitions as we go through. It's about getting in tune, moving from one position to the next position, kind of finding out what your body needs, kind of assessing as we go through here. We're going to bring that back to that down dog. Back into the plank, we're going to finish right where we started, engaging everything, pushing those arms down, those heels away, pulling those abs up for a nice little plank hold for a couple seconds. 2, 1, and relax. All right, so you should have some blood flowing. Your body should be feeling pretty good, ready for the real work. Okay, sound good? So we're going to kind of continue with the theme of mobility for today. We're going to start again in that high plank position instead of that primal position. So this next one, we'll do this all together. We're going to start in that high plank position. So again, you want to think about spreading those fingers out, pushing those palms to the ground, heels away, abs are nice and tight, create that tension, okay? So kind of similar to what we did last time, we're going to kick those hips up in the air, push back to that down dog. In this down dog position, I want you to focus on pressing those heels down into the ground. Those arms are extended, pushing yourself away from your hands. All right, in this position, I'm going to have you walk your hands towards your feet like an inchworm. Walk those hands all the way to those toes. Once you get to those toes, I'm going to have you grab onto your toes and drop those hips down into a good bootstrap squat. All right. In this position, I'm going to have you stand straight up like you just did a squat. All right, now here's where things get saucy. I'm going to move so we can see. We're going to do a windmill. So if you've never done a windmill, pay attention. If you have, awesome. I'm going to tilt this up a little bit so you can see me. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our right hand. We're going to stick our right hand right up in the air. Okay? We're going to take our right hip. We're going to push our right hip out to our right side. Okay? We're going to take our gaze. We're going to look up at our right fingertips. Okay? And what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to take my left shoulder and try to touch my left knee in a hinge. Okay, once you get to this awkward, weird triangle position, you should feel a good stretch through both hips, through your hamstrings, maybe some of your low back, and we're going to reverse that back up. All right, we're going to try it again on the other side. We're going to stick our left hand up in the air. Okay, we're going to cheat our left hip out to the left side. Take our gaze up to our left fingertips. I'm going to try to touch my right shoulder to my right knee in a hinge. So notice when I'm in this position, I'm not folding forward, I'm not reaching backwards, thinking about a wall right in front of me, a wall right behind me, and I'm moving between those two walls. Okay? So you want to think about a very lateral movement on that hinge. Okay? Once we get through that windmill on both sides, all right, just the windmill, and then what we're going to do is we're going to reverse what we just did. We're going to squat back down into a good deep squat, grab those toes, hips go up, and then I'm going to walk my hands out into that reverse inchworm until we get to that plank position. Okay? Ready to do this with me? Let's do it. So we're going to push those hips back up high into that down dog. I'm going to walk my hands in for the inchworm. So on this inchworm, think about, again, push those heels down. Try to elongate those legs. Once you get here, grip those toes, squat down. You may have to adjust the stance of your feet so you get to a nice bottom of your squat here. All right, we'll stand up. We'll stick that right hand up in the air. Cheat that right hip out to the right side. And I'm going to fold towards the left. Trying to keep those legs as straight as possible. Bring that back up. Switch hands. Left hand up, left hip out to the left side. Hinge over to the right. Look up at those fingertips. Bring that back up. We're going to squat back down. Grab those toes. Hips go up. Take a second, stretch those hamstrings, and we'll walk those hands back out. All right, we're going to go 2 more times through here. So nice, good, tall plank. All right, hips go up. All right, stay with me on this one. I want you to think about your hips staying as stable as possible. All right, so try not to walk your hips, rotate your hips. I want you to think about keeping those as still as possible, as horizontal to the ground as possible. Once we get to that forward fold, grab those toes, drop those hips down. Chest is up nice and tall. Stand it up. Right hand goes up, hips out to the right side. Hinge over to the left. Hold that for a breath. Bring that back up. Left hand up in the air. Left hip out to the side. Hinge to the right. Now cha-cha real smooth now, y'all. And we're going to squat that back down. Grab those toes. Hips go up. And walk that out to the plank. All right, remember, reestablish that plank. Extend those arms, those legs, pull those abs in tight. And let's push those hips back up. Walk those hands in, nice stable hips. Grab those toes, squat it down, chest up, eyes up, stand up. All right, push that right hand up in the air, right hip goes out. Hinge over to the left. Come back up tall. Switching hands. Hip out to the left, hinge over, keep that arm straight up in the air, reach to the ceiling, and we're squatting back down, grab those toes, hips go up, walking that back out to the plank, we'll reestablish that plank, we're going to finish up here, so really push those arms down, hips away, we're going to finish strong like we started. Pull those abs in nice and tight. And a good 10-second hold, putting as much tension through the body, head to heel, strong as steel as we can here. 5 seconds. Push, 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 push. 3, 2, 1, and time. All right. That is going to do it for today, folks. Appreciate you hanging around, moving that body. Hopefully you feel pretty loose. Enjoy some strength flow. We'll see you back tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. for some morning mobility. Have a great evening.